Hi guys, happy Friday. We're back and I have a really great video for you today. In fact, it's a preview video of something fantastic to come, and that is we're going to show you how to make art charms and pendants and things like that. Things like we've been doing, but just a little different. And we're going to learn when to use glue and when to use Apoxie Sculpt. What's the difference? And what it is, it's going to be a preview, like I said, of a class that we're going to have this Sunday, April 18th at 1:30 p.m. EST. This is 2021, so you know. So April 18th at 1:30 p.m. live free video class. I'm going to show you how to do that stuff, and you can ask questions. So I hope you'll be there. In the meantime, you can come see what I'm doing now. And before we do that, please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it, and YouTube will notify you when I'm on here, so it's kind of a good thing to do. Another thing I'd like you to do, if you don't mind, is leave me a like, give me a thumbs up, because we work hard to make the videos and we appreciate your kindness when you do that. Take time for it. And if you want to take time to leave me a comment, we do respond. We watch, Javi and I both watch to see, who's commenting and if there's something they need to know, so we will respond. So I hope you'll do those things, and then let's just come on over here and talk about our preview. Okay, so here we are, we're back with you. Just got to remember to stay in a frame, and Javi will prompt me if I don't. I found a bunch of different little things that will work really good to make art charms. Now, I'm really interested in doing them where they're kind of free-form and on their own and they don't have a brass backing, but since I'm newer to Apoxie Sculpt, and possibly you are too, it's really easier if you do have a brass backing to go by. And just once you get used to doing that, it'll be easier to do a free-form, I think. So I'm going to be practicing free-form ones too, but there are different companies out there that do mosaic type jewelry, and it's really delightful. One that springs to my mind is Firefly, that brand. If you were aware of it, you could look it up. It's fun stuff, and it's so pretty. It kind of reminds me of that, and they use little bezels and stuff like that. But anyway, that's what I have pulled out for you today. So to start with, what I have here is I have a pair of little spoons. So last week we did the big spoon. These are baby spoons, little ones. We have them in brass at the website. They are CHM01789. Javi will put that in the review at the end in the description. But they're really easy to use, and you do them the same way as the spoon video that I just did a couple weeks ago. You cut them in half and then you bend them. So like here's the top part of it that was on it. They had this on. And then here's the bottom. Now, several ways you could go with this. You could just use the bottom and make those into cute little earrings. And who wouldn't love to have those little bees on leaf? And then, to me, it's like spoonful of sugar type idea. This is the sugar and this is the bee coming together. It's like, I don't know, that's how I think. But anyway, you could do it that way, make them that way. Or you can put just little pearls and roses and whatever, just little tiny things. Or after you bend the tops, you could reattach them here with the jump ring and make them more movement in it. And then you could do a little bit of glue or Apoxie Sculpt right here and put something there too if you want. Now on these though, I felt it was better, since I wasn't going to put a whole bunch of stuff into them, that I just would stick with glue. So I did these with E6000, and they took about 5 minutes to make. No kidding, no time at all. You just have to be sure that you get it all filled, because you fill the bowl of the spoon first, like you fill your area, like we learned in our previous videos a while back. So I filled this all with the glue, not a lot, but enough. And then I pushed my things into it, and it went real quick. It was real easy to do. So for me, you could do Apoxie Sculpt on this, but this is one thing I'm finding. If you want to do the micro beads like this, they tend to just want to roll around and fall off the Apoxie Sculpt. You can get them on there, I'm sure there's a technique, but right now I'm clumsy with it, and I says, it's so much easier just to use glue. So, and you still have a great effect with it. So you could do it either way, but I did the glue because it was easier to use the microbeads with that, okay? So that's one thing you could do. Another thing you could do is you could take these circlet blanks that I carry at the site. They are BASE, like base, BASE 05099, and you can make some really cool earrings with these if you just put the Apoxie Sculpt on the top. Now it takes a little bit of patience because you have to keep it away from the edge. We've done stuff like this before, but these would be so cool if you put stuff all over them. And I intend to do that later today because I have a little bit of time today and I'm looking forward to it. Here's another idea that you could use. You could take one of these stampings and you could put Apoxie Sculpt on it, and then you could layer little things down into it. Now, one thing I would say with this, when you're going to make the bracelet, you're going to want to arc it a little bit so that it fits over the top of your wrist. See? Flat is not so good. This in here, you can see. Sticks up not so good. So if you're going to do a bracelet, you're going to have to arc it a little bit. So you need to really embed your stuff down into the Apoxie Sculpt. It will hold it. But if you flex it too much after you've put things on, they might pop. That's not saying you couldn't put them back on. But if you want to avoid that, I would just say, build some flex into your work. You could also use glue with this, but I wouldn't. I think in this case, Apoxie Sculpt is better. And of course, you need to realize you're going to have to clear out your holes. Don't cover them. I like this tool for doing it. I've been using it for a while. I ordered a bunch of them. They'll be on the site soon. So you could do something like that. And we even have a little itty bitty tiny one right there. So if you like really delicate minimalist type jewelry, you could also make a bracelet and just put a little bit of something on there. And with Apoxie Sculpt might be good. Because it's so tiny, maybe glue is better. Experiment. That's what it's about. That's how you learn, is by experimenting. Okay? Another thing these are good for is if you want to make a long dangly earring, you could coat it with Apoxie Sculpt and put all kinds of stuff in there and then dangle something at the bottom. Cool look. The only thing is, now these are raw brass, so these are actually plated on the back, I think. But anyway, if it's raw brass, you're going to want it to seal it on, not seal it, but paint it on the back, because you don't want it'll look good, but better that way. So what I normally would do is I would take some ivory colored spray paint and very lightly spritz it across the back of these, let them dry, let it cure, and then when it's good, then I would flip it over and do my design then. So then you have a finished back. You can do it at the end. You're okay if you do it at the end, but you have to be very, very careful. So if you're doing it at the end, you might even want to consider doing it by hand, painting something on by hand. You might want to. Okay, so that's an idea. We'll explore more on Sunday. Okay, and then there are these little hearts that you could do by putting it on. So that's good. They are base, or BASE 02937. These little heart charms. We have lots of them. These are raw brass as well. So you can make a really cool, funky necklace or a bracelet with stuff that has Apoxie Sculpt on it. So, and I would use Apoxie Sculpt on these. Now, I also have this little item, and I really like this, and we're going to work on this for a bit together before I take off today. This is a centerpiece. You can see on the shoulders of the heart, there's a hanging hole. So this is just meant to be adorned and then made into a necklace. It's just perfect for that. So I've mixed up a little bit of Apoxie Sculpt. That's why I had a fist on the other hand, so keeping it warm. I don't want to, because I actually mixed it up a little bit ago. So I'm going to start just to show you how to coat this, because we've done bigger pieces, but this is a tinier piece. So you're going to want to work small. So to do that, just twist a little piece off of your Apoxie Sculpt that's ready, and just start at one edge, and you can pick this up while you're working on it. And you can see you're not going to need a lot for this, so this little ball here is going to probably do a number of things, so that's nice. And of course, if you have long nails like mine, you may have to smooth them out. I keep saying I have to cut them but I haven't yet. The day's coming. By the time we have our workshop in May, yes, they will be cut. They'll have to be. So you can see I'm just layering this on here, and I'm being very careful as I reach the edge of it. Then I get it covered, but I don't want it going over, because you can see right here, see it went over a little bit. I would like to have, this is just me, but I would prefer to have that little edge not have brass on it. That way I don't have to worry about it creeping over onto the back and, you know, being messy, okay? So that's the one thing about it that you're going to have to do, and I can see too that I'm going to have to do. But you can actually do that at the end, because it's such a small piece, it won't take long to decorate it, and it'll still be soft enough that you can clean it up then if you want, or do it as you go. Either way, it's up to you. So I need another little piece. Okay. And I'm just going to take it and put it down in there. You don't want to get it real deep on a brass blank. That's what these are called, brass blanks. You don't want to get them real deep, but you got to get enough so that, you know, you can get stuff stuck down into it, because Apoxie Sculpt, it adheres just as good as glue. In fact, I kind of think maybe it even adheres a little bit better, but you just have to use it the right way. So see, it's creeping up into that hanging hole. You don't want that, because when that sets up, it's going to be hard like cement and hard to get out too. And also, it creeped up onto the hanging hole. Now, if you're clever enough to cover that whole thing and then push it out, in fact, I'm going to try, then it might be a better look to not have the brass shown on the front. Let's see what happens here. I'll just have to make this a little deeper, and then what I'll do is I'll just push it out. And you know what? It really doesn't matter on this bottom part if you get nail prints into it or fingerprints into it, because you're going to cover it anyway. The only time it would matter is if you decided that you didn't want, you know, to decorate this. You just want to paint it or something. In that case, then it needs to be next to perfect, because it won't look good. But anyway, so I just take my little tool in there where the hole is, and I'll ream that out, which I did. The only thing is, now see what happened? It pushed it to the back. So I'm just going to take that off, and then I'll clean that up later so we don't have to spend time doing it now. But you see, you don't want that. I don't. But the thing is, if you spray paint it after, sometimes the spray paint will flash up over that, and it actually doesn't look half bad. It's just all your preference, you know. But I will have to clean that up later if I don't want that on there. Okay, so just keep pushing it out. Don't worry if it's a little high in places. You can compensate for that in a lot of ways. So I just have one more piece, and I bet you this will probably be enough to do it. Just remember, as you're doing it, you know, keep it toward the middle and then push out with it. Kind of just push it out to the edge, but you have to be sure that you have enough, so it's going to stick. You have to be sure that you have enough. And if you have enough on there, once you put something down in and it cures, you don't have to worry about it popping off, because it's not going to. With glue, it can sometimes. I've been very successful in my, you know, life in making jewelry, you know, that I sell for, you know, part of my living. I've been very successful with not having things come off. I really truly have. I've not had a lot of problem with it, and a lot of it goes down to appropriate glue technique. But with Apoxie Sculpt, it's just not coming off, period. You don't have to worry about that. Even sometimes with flex, like people say, well, how can you do a cuff like that? Because with the flex and stuff, you know, it's gonna pop off. It could, but if you have it embedded properly, it probably won't. Also, I'm working on an opened out 6x9 Ziploc, heavy one. Okay, that works real good for me. What you can do if you're doing small parts, I haven't done it here, but I will just tell you, and we will show it a little bit on Sunday. You can cut smaller pieces of it, and that way you can move it around. And also another thing, if you don't like this whole big thing on here, another thing you can do is, if you would rather use a silicone mat like this here, under here, this thing. I think
the gray thing?
Yeah, the gray thing. You can see. That's a silicone mat. that works the same way. You could buy one and cut it up in small pieces, and it'll work the same way. So if you would prefer that, you can do it. But on the other hand, a silicone mat costs what? $8 to $15, depending on where you get it. Why spend it when you can get like a 10-cent baggie? No, you don't really want to use like, you don't want to use like a baggie, because sometimes it gives the idea of it's like a lunch baggie or something. That's a little too thin. You got to have like a good quality Ziploc, like we use to ship stuff in. Okay, so now this looks kind of crude, of course, but that's because we don't have anything in it yet. And as you can see, I've got nail prints all over it. So yes, I've got to cut my nails off. There's no doubt about it. Okay, so I'm going to pick it up here and move it so I can start to apply things. And I'm going to do something fairly simple with it so we can finish it right here. I'm going to use roses, flat back roses, and just push it in. And this is going to go fast. This is going to go real fast. I don't want to use that bright. Push this up here. Maybe I'll put a few pearls in there too. And just, you know, just cover the whole thing with little roses and pearls like this. Now, if I wasn't trying to do this so fast, and if I had worked out my project a little bit better first, then I would be able to do it fast and not have it, you know, probably go wonky a little bit. But I just want to demonstrate to you how it will work. You're going to have to mess with it the same way as I do. I have to mess with it too. There's a lavender one. I'll push that down in. I could have certainly done a better pattern than this, but I'm just going to show you how that goes. Okay, so now I got open places. I was thinking maybe I could fill the whole thing in with a rose, but it's not cooperating. So what I would do with this is I probably would put some pearls in, like these round ones, and these don't want to stick to the katana. I'll try one more time, but they don't want to. Probably I need a new tip. Oh, that one did it. I lied. Okay, so just take, you know what, I just take them and place them, and then just push them down in. But you got to be sure that you get them down in good, so you can see it. So I just continue doing this until it's finished, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to cut out for now, and you're going to have to come back on Friday and see what happened to it.
You mean Sunday.
That's right. Today's Friday.
Today's Friday.
Thank you, Javi. Thank you.
Come back on Sunday.
Come back on Sunday, and this one will be done, and it will be looking good. And I'll have some other ones done too, and we'll work on some more together. And don't worry if yours looks a little bit sloppy like mine does right now. It's because you're in the planning stages of it. You're in the working stages of it. The main thing you got to do is keep these holes clear.
Your hair's showing.
Okay, sorry. Sorry, I showed you my gray old hair. And then, personally, this is sloppy to me, so I want to clean that up. But I would do that at the end. So anyway, I'm going to go back up into my studio upstairs, because I got one up there in my office too. And I'm just going to continue to work on this and plan it and make it all good so that when we get together on Sunday, we're going to have a great time and we're going to learn together. It's going to be great. So I hope you will come back at 1:30 p.m. EST, not EST, 1:30 p.m. EST. I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. I can't make this and talk to you, I guess. But anyway, I better learn. So, yeah, 1:30 p.m. EST on Sunday, April 8th. So I hope we'll see you then, 18th. Okay? Huh? 18th. Oh, jeez. Tell them, Javi. Tell them when it is. Let's
Sunday,
hear another
April
voice.
April 18th at 1:30 p.m.
2021.
EST.
Yes, it's
Okay.
EST time. We're in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yes, 1:30 p.m. EST, April 18th. 2021. We'll get together and we'll do some stuff and we'll finish it, okay?
And there's a giveaway too.
Yes, and don't remember there's a giveaway. Tell your friends.
Yeah.
All of yous come. All right, I'm out of here. I hope you are intrigued enough to come back on Sunday, and I hope you'll join me then. We're going to have a ball, okay? Yay! Bye now.